Hello and welcome to game number 2 of EG vs VirtusPro. We are watching the group stages still from the Dota2 Champions League. This is actually a match between the lowest and the second lowest in the group A of the Dota2 Champions League. Of course, I'm not by myself for this broadcast. I'm actually now joined by two people because we've got Nahaz here in the game. We'll be providing you with all the in-game stats that you want. You won't hear him, you won't see him, but you'll see what he does. And the one that you will hear is, of course, my co-caster, which is Capitalist. Welcome back.
Thank you, Sheeper, and good to have Nahaz here with us. Game 2, you know, honestly, like I talked about in the beginning of Game 1, we talked about how this matchup, Evil Genius versus BP, they have a history of going back and forth, so I'm expecting EG, even though they had a very rough Game 1, I think the strategy was, there wasn't anything big to fault on that, just execution was a little wobbly. Evil Geniuses, I'm expecting them to be able to get their act together and make a strong comeback here in Game 2 and take us to a Game 3, just because in the past that has happened so many different times. Both these teams, very contested matchup back and forth, so.
Well, EG, they definitely learned from Game 1 because they banned out the Venomancer and the Lich, which were, of course, heroes that VirtusPro picked up as first two heroes in the previous game. VirtusPro, though, they stick to their guns. They ban out the same two heroes that they did the previous game. Elder Titan, by the way, this time ignored by both teams. We actually have a Darkseer picked up very early on for VirtusPro. We haven't seen Darkseer that often anymore. He hasn't been having that big of an impact. So picking him up this early makes me think that he's going to play a key role in what VirtusPro is planning to do. And, well, time will tell, of course, if that is indeed true. But maybe they make EG think that it is true and therefore, you know, change their ideas a bit or make them a bit confused. But it's a very early Darkseer pickup for sure. EG, though, picking up a Nature's Prophet and a Crystal Maiden. Two strong heroes. We've seen Fog Crystal Maiden before, and as you said, it is basically all he plays lately. Well, today is not going to be any different. EG, once again, that Crystal Maiden is on their side.
Yep, and I mean, we've already, at the very least, we've got some sort of split push coming out from Evil Geniuses. I think this is going to be a very different draft than last time. In fact, they're also going to ban away the Shadow Shaman, so I think they're going to stick away from the pushing lineup that they tried to do last time and go for something entirely different. Go for a little bit more team fight here. Now with the Visage pickup, they're not really revealing much though in their draft. Picking up one core and the first 3 picks is pretty much the best you can do when it comes to hiding your lineup. So Evil Geniuses has a very open draft. That being said, VirtusPro do too. I mean, Lifestealer is still picked up very quite often because he is very versatile. You can grab him early on in the draft and still be able to work many different things around him, whether it be hard carry, aggressive tri-lane, dual lane. Many different things work with Lifestealer. Many different team fight strategies work with Lifestealer. So, BP, though, they do have Darkseer. So if Evil Geniuses decides to 5v5, and now with the Witch Doctor, that's another pretty strong team fight 5v5 hero. Yeah. Evil Geniuses might want to just pick up the harder carry here and play a little bit of Rat Dota with the Nature's Prophet.
Well, I hope that they have seen the match that VirtusPro played yesterday up against Navi. Was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday. Because they played with the Witch Doctor, and they won with the Witch Doctor. They were all over the place so early on, and Storm Spirit fits perfectly in their lineup because also a hero that when level 6, he can do it all. And I'm actually quite scared for EG right now because even though I like their lineup, Nature's Prophet, very strong hero. The Visage Crystal Maiden support combination, very strong. Allows you to pick a very safe carry with this Clockwork seemingly going mid or Visage mid. We've seen that before as well. But, well, when that Storm is level 6 and if your supports are a bit under-leveled, you're gonna have some issues. You're definitely gonna have some issues, and I'm thinking like, what's EG gonna do in that mid-game, early to mid-game? How are they gonna buy time for their Nature's Prophet to you know, grow and get as strong as he needs to be able to split push successfully in this lineup? It's not gonna be a Ricky that's gonna do that. It's a very interesting lineup from EG, with the Dazzle actually last banned out for EG. VirtusPro banning out the Weaver, no surprise there because lack of lockdown slightly, but also of course strong up against that Lifestealer, which is seemingly so far their only core. But What do you think of EG's lineup with the Ricky?
You know, I don't think that Ricky is a high enough impact hero to make me, because you look at this lineup from Evil Geniuses, and you do have some good playmaking heroes, Visage, Clockwork. But I feel that, like, especially the Crystal Main and the Nature's Prophet, you don't have enough playmaking heroes to either gank heavily enough in order to put VirtusPro on the back foot and just kind of snowball your advantage here. I mean, they've got a Storm Spirit and a Lifesteal, on top of that a Dark Seer, so they've got really good late game on VP. They've got exceptionally good team fight. The one thing that Evil Geniuses really excels at is ganks. But unfortunately, the only real push off of those ganks is Nature's Prophet, so a lot of that is going to be on him. If Nature's Prophet gets caught out, though, it's really easy for a Furion to get caught out, because you've got a Storm Spirit on your team. Storm Spirit might be easy food for Riki, but then again, Furion's easy food for Storm Spirit. So it's sort of this vicious cycle sort of deal. But I honestly really prefer VirtusPro's lineup, even though it's got some not necessarily some traditional heroes. Witch Doctor and Enigma haven't really been seeing that much play lately. VP has shown in the past that they're able to use them to great success, and when you look at the synergy of their lineup, I much prefer VP's draft.
It's a fun lineup as well. I mean, there's black holes, you can zip in. There's a Witch Doctor! What can you not like about a Witch Doctor? Look at it go. With a brilliant mask on, by the way. A rare tribal totem mask. Awesome. Anyways, let's take a look at who's playing what. Of course, you know, EG, if they play it right, they definitely have a plan in mind. We're gonna see if they can make it work. We have got Fear this time playing the Ricky. He'll be on the farming role here, with Jo playing the Visage, MSS playing the Clockwork. So far, not everybody moving bottom, just 3 heroes thus far. Well, I can say 4. Fogged is likely on his way to make some awards. I mean, he's playing the Crystal Main. Raise your hand if you're surprised. Wait a second, are we gonna have a level 1 engagement? That would not be something that EG would want to have. 3 versus 5. Not really in your favor. Well, it looks like they are able to scare VirtusPro away just by their mere presence. Last, of course, for EG is Universe. He'll play the Nature's Prophet. Looks like he might be on the safe lane solo with an aggressive trial lane for EG. Counter wards already going on. This is very important. The fact that there is counter wards this early on in the game, I mean, this is no vision for one of their observe wards anyway, for well, for 4.5 minutes.
The battle begins.
Because that's when
you see that they
ward poolers. What did I say?
They gave Fear the last hit on the ward. That extra 50 gold.
I was wondering why he stopped attacking. I was thinking, like,
Yeah.
you know what? I fogged something like, you know what? I missed too much hits. You take it. I don't care anymore from this these misses from the low ground. But the 50 gold goes to Ricky. Yeah, that's actually quite decent. Quite good. But yeah, that's everybody on EG. And it looks like they rotated, so they're going to have an aggressive tri lane, or safe tri lane top with Universe here on the bottom lane. And I'll leave VirtusPro to you to introduce.
Yeah, we got NS on the Witch Doctor. G is going to be on that mid Storm Spirit. The stand-in Blow Your Brain is going to be on the Lifestealer. Heaven is on the Dark Seer in the North lane, and finally, Arzard on the Enigma. So all around, this looks to be pretty simple lanes. Standard Clockwork mid versus Storm Spirit. Like, he's actually going to have a decent time. He's one of the few melees who can do well versus Storm Spirit.
Blow Your Brain is going to force Universe to TP out. Ooh, the cogs didn't come in time. NS, he tried to help out. That was pretty close, actually. I think that's Universe rotating into the jungle. He can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he just wanted to sort of test the waters there in that lane and see if he could stay in there. At the very least, he's able to pick up level 2, but he's going to go jungle now. Not a big surprise. But you've also got a slight advantage. This is one of the few things that Crystal Main really brings to the table, is the fact that she is also able to jungle, and pretty effectively at that. So when you've got, all you really need is your Visage in lane to keep Light of Heaven back, trying to keep him out of experience range as much as possible. You're able to get in a lot of extra golden experience due to the fact that Crystal Main is able to use the jungle so well.
Oh my god. Oh, no, this sentry ward shoots scout out the other sentry ward. Yeah, there we go. 2 sentry wards for that one sentry ward. Interesting strategies coming out here from an S. But he at least makes sure that he doesn't block his own camp with that. And talking about experience, by the way, I mean, Crystal Maiden is going to get a decent amount of experience, as is Visage. But a Witch Doctor, that is such a experience-dependent support, by the way, the universe. Boom! Boom! Naked Reveal down. Nicely done. That's a big impact, actually. Especially for a Storm. But Witch Doctor is actually going to steal some experience from our side. They do give all the experience on the bottom lane to Blow Your Brain. So he's going to get ahead here compared to the Riki. Should be getting ahead compared to the Riki in terms of experience, that is. If indeed Jo is going to try to take some experience from Fear here.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't look like he's going to go for an early minus. So I was kind of expecting it with the free farm that he was getting. A fast minus up on Lifestealer. Levels are just as important as gold on him. But it doesn't look like it. MSS is doing a really good job middle. Again, Clockwork, one of the few supports because of Cog spam. He can stand up against Storm Spirit really, really well. And sitting at 19-0 is a pretty good place to be. They really just, for the most part, these are pretty passive lanes. Like, you're not going to be able to pick up the Darkseer. Furion, he only goes bottom when the lane's being pushed, and other than that, he's in the jungle. We shouldn't really see any kills until level 6 on the mid heroes. That's the really big key thing, is both those heroes are playmakers the moment they hit level 6. So, whether they go on each other or they rotate to the side lanes, we'll have to keep an eye on that. But, for the most part, it's just a farm fest for now.
Yeah, unless maybe, I'm secretly hoping that Crystal Maiden and Visage are going to buy a smoke and try to gank up that Storm Spirit. Of course, Storm Spirit, before he's level 6, he's actually gankable. Invis Rune actually might be enough for that. If Fog can make it happen, then the Invis Rune might be enough that they may be able to get a kill. It's going to be difficult, though. As you said, it's fairly passive lanes, unfortunately for us, but that's the way it's going to be. It looks like they're just going to give the rune to MSS, so nothing really spectacular happening here. Universe indeed coming back to the bottom lane. He has to be careful still, because should Witch Doctor come around, which right now is not the case, because they really want to secure that level 6 for G, so NS is hanging around, should something happen, he's there. And by the way, talking about should something happen, Fogged is there as well. It is of course the first nighttime. This is the time where you try and gank. If you want to gank, this is your go. But there, NS to save the day. Wasn't even needed, I think. G was already playing fairly careful. Yeah, Blow Your Brain is just diving towers because he can.
Oh.
Can he actually make that happen?
MSS.
Oh, Cogs in. That's gonna be first blood. MSS, the first hookshot, gets level 6. Invis Rune straight away because he can get away with it. That's pretty impressive and pretty, maybe sloppy from NS to not see that MSS got level 6.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a really good hook shot by MSS, having that awareness and seeing that opportunity. And with the Invis Rune, he was perfectly safe. Even if Storm Spirit and Enigma came over and tried to help out, he could just activate his Invis Rune and let Battery Assault do the rest of the work. So, so really good first blood pickup by MSS. Definitely improving his worth on this Evil Geniuses team. He's really been impressing me every single time I've seen him. Meanwhile, stacks are going up all over the jungle for right now. Fogged is in a level 3, Geo in level 3 as well, so the two supports sitting on the same level as the Witch Doctor right now. Fortunately, Enigma is an extremely fast jungler, so he can definitely rival Furion and Crystal Maiden when it comes to utilizing the jungle.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna be feeling the wrath of the Crystal Maiden soon. Nice haste from the Nice still from our side, but he's still gonna get ganked upon. MSS, he's got a hookshot ready, finds it. Nature's Prophet teleporting in. The Cogs force our side out, but it doesn't matter. You're gone. Nature's Prophet coming in for the hit. And yeah, that was Enigma realizing that he was gonna die, so he just bought up all the smokes and the teleport scrolls that he could. And just spending all his gold before he died. Successfully so. And I mean, it's gold that you're gonna spend anyways, or at least on the smokes and teleports, for example, as well. So yeah, good effort from him.
Yeah, especially since he's about to pick up level 6. Black Hole early on is not much of a, it's not the same as a late game Black Hole. Usually you just are only going to use it for one hero kill. If you get 2 people in the Black Hole, it's pretty much amazing early game. So you're probably going to see a smoke rotation once he picks up level 6, and try and use that early Black Hole to secure a kill.
Yeah, looks like VirtusPro is going to secure a kill too, or at least attempting to. They have got 3 people on the top lane, including G with a full mana bar, which he actually spends on a big creep wave. He's just going to be here for the creeps. Screw heroes. He's taking a bit of a beating from here. If VG wants to go for this, they might have a shot. Although, of course, Ines has backed off his restoration for 1 point. No, they back off. They got the camp. Do they have any detection with them, actually? Which doctor?
Yeah, you know, that's...
Nope. No detection.
They gain the same amount of golden experience that they would have picking off a hero, so... Them, that rotation's definitely worth it. Taking away that stack is really well played. And, again, like, I'm still... Clockwork's moving around the map a little bit, and he's gonna try and secure kills. Unfortunately, like Lifestealer, he can't really go bottom because Tyrion is not able to provide anything for gank, and obviously Rage takes away that big battery assault damage. So there isn't many options for MSS really to pick off heroes, which is rather unfortunate. But again, we've seen MSS build into blade mails and armlets before and actually be a decent kind of semi-carry Clockwork. So him farming up isn't necessarily a bad thing by any means.
No, he's already got the chainmail, so he's starting to build up towards his blade mail indeed. Blow Your Brain sitting on 62 for 7. He actually did pick up his Hand of Midas as Fog with an Invis Rune, scouts out where Arsard is at, and perhaps we're going to see MSS rotating. Yes, he is. MSS coming in for Arsard. It's an easy kill. Frostbite comes in, the hook shot, no surprise. Cogs, Arsard, oh, black hole, but doesn't matter. Battery assault is already active. That's actually a pretty big deal. You mentioned as level 6 you might see Enigma rotate because he's got those smokes, he got that black hole, but that's a black hole that's on cooldown for 3 minutes and then some.
Yeah, that was definitely a really good play. Light of Heaven.
Ooh, Blink forward. Actually, Finger, he's gonna dive this. He's got another Blink Strike soon, but Nature's Prophet perhaps can get a Sprout in. Then cancel his teleport. Fear can't get anything done. Universe in the meantime, he is the one in trouble. Open Wounds comes in, can't escape, goes down. First kill of VirtusPro goes the way of G, Storm Spirit. Teleports come in to reply for it, with actually Witch Doctor in a lot of trouble because MSS cogs him in. No way you're gonna get out of that one alive. And S drops, so they get something in return, but it's a good kill for VirtusPro, and especially because it's going the way of G. He needs that extra gold. He's not doing all too well for a solo mid Storm Spirit.
One of the nice things about Riki early on is he's an exceptionally good keeper once you get like level 12, 13, when you start getting those levels in smoke screen, and it's a wide enough AoE that you're actually able to kill heroes before they get out of the smoke. Early on, though, he has a little bit of difficulty, and it depends kind of a little bit more heavily on supports being able to hit some sort of lockdown. He's got both Cogs and Nature's Prophet's Sprout, both exceptionally good abilities that lock an enemy hero into a tight little area where Riki can jump in, get a lot of back damage, and if necessary, get on a smoke screen, which they cannot escape from. So there's some synergy in those things in that regards. And Fears starts snowballing hard, especially if he picks up this Enigma kill.
By Arsard. EG. They have decided that they are now the kings of the VirtusPro jungle. And it works. They've got themselves another kill up on Arsard, who's now died 3 times here in his own jungle. In the meantime, EG is actually on the top lane, hiding in their own forest, in their own tree line, because G has actually shown his face. And of course we still have Ines there as well. They still don't have detection, though. They cannot go in on any Riki that might be hanging around here, which he's not, I realize that. But I'm still just quite surprised that they're playing fairly passive, and I was not expecting that to happen. As I said during the draft, yesterday VirtusPro played with this kind of lineup, and they were really all over the place. And perhaps G had a bit of a easier mid-game. I believe he had a different hero than a Storm Spirit. But they're just farming. You know, I respect that, and I mean, Lifestealer is still doing really well. He's still highest up on net worth on the map, but later on in the game, there's still going to be that annoying split push coming up from EG, and I'm not sure that VirtusPro can actually deal with that. Oh, perhaps he can take Fear down. No, nope, never mind, no detection. What am I saying?
Yeah, Lifestealer is actually an exceptionally good hero to run up against Lifestealer. In many ways, he's a very strong counter. He has a silence to be able to lay down on his own. He's got extremely good physical damage to burst down a Lifestealer even through rage. So there's definitely, this is a danger point for VP. That being said, VP still has a really good team fight. When they're ready, if they group up, Evil Geniuses, I don't think they can really take the team fight, even if they are ahead.
Well, it looks like they don't have to take a team fight. They're 4 heroes of EG bottom. They're gonna take a tier 1 tower. In the meantime, G, actually, with an invested Lifestealer inside of him, is hunting here on the top lane. But, you know, we can see the minimap. Unfortunately for the teams, they cannot see where their opponents are. But, yeah, VirtusPro on the hunt or not, they're not gonna find anybody unless EG tries to defend their top tier 1 tower, which looks to be the case with Fear already coming in. Do they have detection? Yes, they do! G bought some smoke. Let's see if they can get him. In comes the smoke, the dust rather. Fear drops a smoke screen though, and that looks to be enough. It is enough! The TPs come in, they defend their tower, they don't go down, the smoke is on cooldown. Gank failed for VirtusPro.
Really well done by Riki. That was a beautiful smoke screen. Fear was just on top of that when it comes to reactions. Unfortunately, G was just never able to. He didn't really get the best ball lightning initiation there. That should have been sort of one of those instant initiations, but still, really well done by Fear. And G's gonna try and make up for that by trying to grab a different kill. MSS got an invis rune. He's sitting on him right now.
Yeah, Vortex already coming in comes the cavalry, and that should be clockwork down. Blade me or not, and that still takes quite a pounding, and he might actually go down. And fuck, that's another frostbite up on him. That is a kill. Urn Charge comes in, wasn't even needed. That's gonna be at least a retaliation kill for Fogged, making sure that his team gets something in return, and they get an deny on their tower. That's the first tower that goes down on their turf as Fear gets away from Lower Brain. Dust comes out. Oh, Fear, you shouldn't have stuck around. That's gonna be the first time that Riki dies. And the smoke comes from Arsart this time. So good kill. Quite greedy of Riki to stick around, assuming that, you know, they didn't have anything, but good kill for VirtusPro. They really needed something like that. And if they can get a tower off the back of this one, that's going to be even more important, even though they will lose Roshan. And there's no way that VirtusPro can take this Roshan away from EG at this point.
Yeah, you know, this is Lifestealer Bloody Brain. He did actually end up going for that fast Midas build, and he's really far ahead. Even though it doesn't look like it, that Midas has put Lifestealer almost 100 gold per minute ahead of Fear right now, which is huge. So Fear, even though he's been able to pick up a kill and be a part of another one, it's still not enough. And you see this build on Fear, he actually went for an early Vanguard.
Yeah, it's not a build that you see very often anymore. Of course, it kind of loses its value later on in the game. You rather want a heart if you're building for late game. It's still very decent this early on, I find, though. It's just a shame that you can't disassemble it. That would be then it would be an amazing item, by the way. But yeah, Crystal Main goes down. Lifestealer picking her up. And G coming out to help. And he's actually almost finished up his Orchid, which is going to be very important for his ganking purposes. In the meantime, we also have got Fear on the hunt. He's actually on the tail of Arsart, but Arsart realizes something was wrong. The drawing comes out actually from an S. And Fear will not be able to get a target today. But perhaps his team can at least take a tier 1 tower instead.
Yeah, and this is a concern I have, that VP in the jungling heroes that they have, being able to utilize the extra golden experience there. And then,
Malefice, is it enough? It is enough. Rejoice. Fear lives. He actually got smoked as well, just in case. That was the last smoke that Enigma had. They only have one smoke left, which is on the Storm.
Their lineup, EG's lineup just focuses so much on ganking that VP's mobility and their ability to utilize the jungle well is really killing EG. Like, they're just not able to find these hero kills, and even when they do, VP is able to pick up a significant amount of farm on everyone else. And that was the biggest concern I had for EG. They have all this ganking power, but if VP is able to avoid it...
Well, clock goes down top lane. Good kill, another gank. I mean, this is just VirtusPro working their lineup, looks like. Oh, Nature's Prophet teleporting in, looks to go for Light of Heaven. He does have a vacuum, can vacuum out the trees, but he just teleports out instead, which worked out in the end, but partly because Arsart came in there. By the way, I mean, I mentioned this briefly during the draft, because it was a very early pickup of a Darkseer. Do you feel that it's, you know, paid off? A first pick Darkseer? Do you see the value?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely paid off for them. Also in the fact that it would have been a really good hero for EG to have. In the fact that going up against a Lifestealer, I think VP knew they wanted to pick up Lifestealer, again, very early on in the draft. So not only is it a strong hero in general for them, but it's also would be really good for EG. Being able to run Darkseer up against Lifestealer is always pretty ideal. So gives them a significant amount of team fight later on. We're not really seeing Light of Heaven making many plays yet, but he's able to pick up a 4-staff. He's kind of the quiet, hidden player of this game, where he's not making big plays, but he's making the right plays.
Can he get his thumbs up? No, he cannot. That was just G hunting. The hookshot misses from MSS. He had a smoke. Looked for a target, found a target, killed the target. In the meantime, talking about targets, Blow Your Brain was one, and he is able to get picked off. That was close, though. He was trying to teleport out. They didn't have anything to stop it, but they did have enough damage coming out, so... 1-for-1 exchange, which in the end is favorable for AG, because picking off a Lifestealer is a pretty big deal, but it was kind of greedy for him to be there all the time. In the meantime, on the bottom lane, Tier 1 tower gets taken down, or is it denied? No. It is taken down. MSS, Cogs, don't lock anybody in. In comes a black hole, catches 2, Fear and MSS, and in comes a bit of a wombo combo. Fear goes down. He had an Aegis though, and Ness, freezing field, Fog gets another one. 4 dead in total, now looking for the last one. That's a team wipe across the map. The black hole was great. The ulti from Witch Doctor was great, but Fog's freezing field was better.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Aegis, EG knew that they could force some sort of team fight, especially with the Lifestealer being down. One of the big physical damage dealers, like, if they don't have the Storm Spirit, they don't have the Lifestealer to be able to deal damage in those disables, then they're easily going to be able to come out on top. So that was a huge team fight for EG, and hopefully they can turn this into a Tier 2.
Doesn't look like they're continuing to push, though, for the moment. JO is just farming the jungle. They do play some more aggressive wards, so that might help Fear being a bit more aggressive on the map. Fear, by the way, who has, well, I'd say completed his diffusal. Oh yeah, there we go, it puts it in the career. So he's completed his diffusal blade now as a second item. So that's going to be very important for him to try and continue to keep the ganking going, keep people under the smoke, of course, the smoke screen that he drops. If he gets Storm with that, Storm who is almost finished up his Orchid. But if he gets Storm under that smoke screen, then he should be able to kill him off before he gets out from under it. Then that should be doable, unless G builds some new item that allows him to force staff himself away from under the smoke screen. I actually wouldn't be surprised to see someone just getting that force staff. Darkseer already has one. You need to force staff your teammates out from under that smoke screen. That's just so important, especially Storm.
Yeah, and especially considering the fact that they're also going to be heroes locked in on the Clockwork Cogs and Sprout. Really good item to be picked up this time by Light of Heaven. So again, not the biggest plays. You know, you can't really talk a whole lot about Light of Heaven just yet in this game, but making all the right decisions.
Walk past the sentry ward. They're not able to get it though. Fog coming up, throw the Nova is enough to offer some safety. That sentry ward didn't work though. They really wanted to go. It wasn't too long of a jump for Storm to have a lot of mana, and that kind of did them in. He does have the Orchid complete. Doesn't get the kill. And a new sentry ward placed. At this moment though, EG realized that there's a sentry ward there, so I'm gonna expect that to be counter-warded, or Fear to just not show his face there anymore. Arsart, you're dead.
Oh, good pick off.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing so far forward.
Yeah, that one's just a bit too aggressive. Can't even call it that because it wasn't even that aggressive at all. It's a bit mispositioning. 2400.
Still though, I mean, they're getting all these pickoffs, but they're not turning it into anything. They got a Tier 1 last time because of Fury going top, but they're gonna have a hard time going into Tier 2s. As much as strong as they have a mid-game lineup, you're still gonna see VP get all of their items before the game's over.